Imagine a world where faith knows no boundaries. A place where the essence of spirituality is not confined by the walls of temples, mosques, or churches, but flows freely like a river, nourishing every soul it touches. A world where love for the divine transcends the limits of rituals and doctrines. Here, the divine is not a distant entity, but a presence felt in every heartbeat, every breath, and every act of kindness. This was the world envisioned by the Bhakti and Sufi movements in India. These movements were not just religious reforms. They were profound spiritual revolutions that sought to break down the barriers between the divine and the devotee. They dared to imagine a world where devotion was the only passport required to reach the divine. In their eyes, the heart was the true temple, and love was the purest form of worship. Did you hear about the time when gods themselves were said to be arguing over which path was superior? These stories, though mythical, carried a deeper truth about the human quest for spiritual supremacy. The Bhakti and Sufi saints would have laughed and invited them all to join hands. They believed that the divine could be found in the unity of hearts and the harmony of souls. This wasn't just about religious tolerance, it was a revolution of the heart. It was about embracing the divine in every form and recognizing the sacredness in every being. It was about recognizing the universal language of love and devotion that transcended all differences. In their gatherings, people from all walks of life came together, not as strangers, but as fellow travelers on the spiritual path. It was about tearing down walls and building bridges. These movements taught that the true essence of spirituality lies in unity, compassion, and mutual respect. And it all happened right here in India, centuries ago. A land where the seeds of spiritual unity were sown, and the fruits of love and devotion continue to inspire generations. The Bhakti movement, a surge of intense devotion, first emerged in South India around the 7th century. Picture this: common people, tired of complex rituals and distant deities, yearning for a direct connection with the divine. They found solace in the Bhakti path, a path that emphasized personal experience over empty rituals. It was a radical idea that anyone, regardless of caste or creed, could experience the divine through sheer devotion. This message resonated with millions. The movement quickly spread, reaching the northern parts of India by the 15th century. It was a revolution fueled by love and longing. Around the same time, another mystical movement was taking root in India: Sufism. Carried by the winds of change that accompanied the arrival of Islam, Sufism offered a unique path to the divine. The Sufis, like the Bhakti saints, stressed a direct and personal experience of God. They believed in achieving spiritual enlightenment through love, devotion, and self-surrender. Their message, that God is closer to us than our own jugular vein, a constant presence in our lives. But how did these two seemingly distinct movements, one rooted in Hinduism and the other in Islam, come together in the Indian subcontinent? Here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. Despite their different origins, the Bhakti and Sufi movements shared a common thread: a passionate love for God that transcended religious boundaries. Both emphasized a direct, personal connection with the divine, rejecting the need for elaborate rituals or intermediaries. This shared emphasis on love and devotion created a fertile ground for a remarkable cultural fusion. Music, poetry, and philosophy became shared spaces for expressions of love and longing, blurring the lines between religions. The Bhakti and Sufi movements were blessed with extraordinary individuals who embodied their ideals. These movements, which emerged in medieval India, were not just religious or spiritual phenomena, they were profound social and cultural revolutions. They sought to break down the barriers of caste, creed, and religion, promoting a message of universal love and devotion. The saints and mystics of these movements were the torchbearers of this transformative vision. Think of Kabir, the weaver poet who challenged religious hypocrisy with his soul-stirring verses. Kabir's poetry was a powerful critique of the social and religious divisions of his time. He used simple, everyday language to convey profound spiritual truths, making his teachings accessible to the common people. His verses, known as Kabir Ke Do, continue to inspire millions even today. Or Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, who preached a message of unity and love, drawing inspiration from both Hindu and Islamic traditions. Guru Nanak's teachings emphasized the oneness of God and the equality of all human beings. He traveled extensively, spreading his message of peace and harmony, and his followers compiled his hymns into the Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of Sikhism. And then there was Mirabai, the Rajput princess who renounced her royal life for the love of Krishna. Her soul poured out in passionate devotional songs. Mirabai's bhajans, or devotional songs, are filled with an intense longing for union with her beloved Krishna. Her life and poetry are a testament to the power of personal devotion and the transformative potential of love. On the Sufi side, we have saints like Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, who emphasized love and service to humanity. Chishti's teachings were rooted in the principles of compassion, charity, and humility. He established the Chishti order in India, which became a major center of Sufi spirituality, attracting followers from all walks of life, and Nizamuddin Auliya, whose wisdom and compassion drew people from all walks of life. Nizamuddin Auliya's Dargah, or shrine in Delhi, remains a place of pilgrimage for people of all faiths. His teachings emphasized the importance of love, tolerance, and the inner spiritual journey. He believed that true spirituality transcends religious boundaries and that the essence of all religions is the same. These were not just religious figures, they were revolutionaries who dared to challenge the status quo. They questioned the rigid social hierarchies and religious dogmas of their time, advocating for a more inclusive and compassionate society. Their teachings and actions were a form of social protest, aimed at creating a more just and equitable world. They were poets, musicians, and social reformers who left an indelible mark on Indian culture. Their legacy continues to inspire and guide us, reminding us of the power of love, devotion, and the human spirit. Through their words, music, and actions, they showed us that true spirituality is about breaking down barriers and building bridges of understanding and compassion. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Bhakti and Sufi movements was their potential to challenge social norms. Imagine a society rigidly divided by the caste system, where one's birth determined their destiny. Into this rigid structure, the Bhakti and Sufi saints brought a message of radical equality. They proclaimed that in the eyes of God, everyone is equal. They opened their arms to the marginalized, the downtrodden, and the outcast. They challenged the authority of the priestly class and emphasized the importance of personal experience over birthright. This message resonated with millions who had been sidelined for centuries. Could this be the beginning of a more just and equitable society? The Bhakti and Sufi movements didn't just preach their message, they sang it, wrote it, and shared it far and wide. These movements were not confined to the elite or the educated. They reached out to the common people, the villagers, and the townsfolk. Their message was one of love, unity, and devotion, transcending the barriers of caste, creed, and social status. One of their most powerful tools was the use of vernacular languages. By choosing to write and sing in the languages spoken by the masses, they ensured that their message was accessible to everyone. This was a deliberate and revolutionary choice, as it democratized spiritual knowledge and made it available to all, regardless of their educational background. Imagine the impact of hearing devotional songs not in Sanskrit, the language of the elite, but in your own language, the language of your heart. This was revolutionary. It meant that the divine was speaking directly to you, in words you could understand and relate to. It created a personal connection between the individual and the divine, making spirituality a deeply personal experience. Poets like Kabir, Tulsidas, and Amir Khusro became the voices of the people, their words resonating with the common man's hopes, dreams, and struggles. They used simple yet profound language to convey complex spiritual truths, making them accessible to all. Their words echoed in villages and towns, in marketplaces and homes, spreading the message of love and devotion. These poets were not just writers, they were social reformers who challenged the status quo and inspired people to look beyond the superficial differences that divided them. Spreading the message of love and devotion, they brought people together, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. Their gatherings were not just religious events. They were social occasions where people from different backgrounds could come together and celebrate their shared humanity. Their poetry, often set to soulful music, transcended the boundaries of language and religion, creating a universal appeal. The melodies and rhythms of their songs had the power to move people deeply, evoking emotions that words alone could not. Touching the hearts of millions, their songs became anthems of love, peace, and unity. The emotional reactions of the listeners were a testament to the profound impact of their words and music. This rich literary legacy continues to inspire and uplift people even today. The timeless messages of the Bhakti and Sufi poets remain relevant, reminding us of the enduring power of love, devotion, and unity in a world that often seems divided.